Requirements modeling principles. So what happens is, whenever we are dealing with software development life cycle process models, the first one is the communication. Finally, we deploy or delivery of the software. So this communication is done to get the requirement. We want to gather the requirement. It's rather requirement gathering. So what are the requirements to be given? Now, when we model it, when we present it in some form so that it can be transformed into design and then to coding. So the different phases, for example, the communication, the planning, modeling, construction, deployment. So this is the modeling part. So all the requirement modeling, whenever you do it, whichever method you take, then what are the principles underlying making or doing the requirements modeling? In order to fulfill the use cases, the user requirement, and the timely delivery of the product. The first one is the information domain of a problem must be represented and understood. This means the information domain is all about data. It's all data. So the data, how you're holding it, how you're sending it, how you're receiving it. That is, whenever you're talking about a software, what data is getting inside the system. It may be from the end users, it may be from the other systems, or there are external devices which are also putting some data here. So this is the data flow inside the system. What about the data which is coming out? This can be through some user interface. You want to show some graphics. There may be some network interfaces. You want to show it, say, in the form of reports. There are data which are placed permanently. These are maintained permanently. So this is the information domain we are talking about. Next is the functions that the software perform must be defined. So the software function is all about helping or solving the user problem. So what are the functions the software need to perform? We need to define it in the requirements modeling. You are actually solving the problem of the user. Okay, you are making it easier for him to work. The next one, which is the principle number 3, is the behavior of the software as a consequence of external events must be represented. Software you have made, but there are so many events and triggers. That is when the user will provide input, how the control data will be provided by any external system, if the network is there, how you monitor the data coming inside, going outside, how the software is going to behave or act in certain way if certain activities are done. So the behavior of the software has to be put in the requirements modeling. For example, if you are doing some audio video call, what is the bandwidth? What is the bandwidth it's using? So these are the behavior of the software. So you need to know it and present it. The models that depict information, function, behavior must be partitioned in a manner that uncovers detail in a layered or hierarchical fashion. What is hierarchy? The way is to use divide and conquer. So for example, an organization is there, 1000 people are there. So you will make a committee, food committee, one committee you can make as a cultural committee, the cleaning committee, then the procurement committee, the security department, like this. So you are making a department or the committees. So requirement modeling, you have to present everything in the form of layer, and that also to be in the hierarchical form. This may be the highest function or highest view. So you have to divide it. You have to use the divide and conquer strategy. Even if you can divide them more, you can also do that. So the hierarchical form and every layer should have enough partition. So if you have a large, or you can say a very complex problem, you can divide it into certain smaller problem, that is the sub problem, until every one of you is able to understand and able to implement that sub problem. So this is all about divide and conquer strategy. So what do we name it? We call it as partitioning or separation of concern, SOC. We have already seen that. So this is the main strategy behind the requirements modeling, partitioning and separation of concern. The next one is the analysis task should move from essential information toward implementation detail. So whenever the work is assigned to us, we just go to implementation, right? So this is required, but this analysis modeling, this all is started by when you know the problem. That is, it begins by describing the problem, and this is not by your view. What user's perspective is there, how user thinks about this. This should be your idea. How to define it, how to explain it. Now I'll tell you a video game. Now in this video game, this is a game where you want to instruct the player, which is the hero or protagonist of your game. Now she has to move, and this is a dangerous maze. So what is the problem? What is the essence of the problem? So the essence of problem is the hero or the protagonist has to move. This is the essence of the problem. Then we will go to the implementation detail. Now you understand the problem. You understood the problem. Now we'll go to the implementation detail. That is, this is a part of a design model. If you don't know the problem, if you don't know the essential information, there is no point in going to implementation detail. So here, which is a part of the design model, which is implementation detail, here you can give the voice input or say keyboard input. You can use mouse or joystick or the most motion sensitive device. Some sensors can be there, or even the user moves their hand or body, it should note it and move it in that direction. So this is the implementation detail, but essence is something different.